Boris Johnson may not return to Scotland for a holiday after he was swept out by the current during a Highlands break last year, it has been claimed. The Prime Minister hired a remote three-bedroom rental in Lonbain, Applecross, with his fiancée Carrie Symonds, their son Wilfred and their dog Dylan last August. But it has been claimed that the Prime Minister faced trouble during an incident whilst on the week-long Scottish break. Mr Johnson was said to have been taken out by the current whilst going out paddleboarding or canoeing. His security detail was said to be concerned about him drifting out to sea, with one source suggesting he was swept away and found himself going further and further out. This, it has been suggested, caused his security detail to make preparations to call a rescue helicopter over fears the PM could drown. However, the Prime Minister eventually managed to paddle halfway back, where he was met by his protection officers. A source told The Times, "It was all fine in the end, but it could have been a catastrophe." Mr Johnson is also understood to have snubbed thoughts of a second holiday to Scotland and is said to have told friends, "over my dead body," about going north of the border again for a holiday. It comes after he told MPs on the House of Commons Liaison Committee last month, "Wild horses won't keep me away," when asked if we would return to Scotland for a break. Number 10 sources told Express.co.uk that Mr Johnson was strongly considering a UK break this year due to strict quarantine rules on international travel. A source added, "International travel is very risky for a holiday at the moment." They declined to comment on reports surrounding last year's holiday. It comes after Downing Street said Boris Johnson would not be self-isolating after a junior member of his team tested positive for COVID-19 during a visit to Scotland this week. Scottish contact tracers are currently contacting those who had been in contact with the civil servant, sparking fears Mr Johnson could be asked to stay at home. A Number 10 spokesman said, "The Prime Minister regularly visits communities across the UK, and all aspects of visits are carried out in line with COVID guidance. The Prime Minister has not come into close contact with anyone who has tested positive." Mr Johnson was joined on his visit by Scottish Secretary Alistair Jack, Business Secretary Kwasi Kwartung and Scottish Tory leader Douglas Ross, both of whom have not been pinged by Scotland's contact tracing app. Express.co.uk understands. It comes after the Prime Minister attempted to avoid self-isolation by taking part in a trial that allowed for daily testing before backtracking after a public backlash following Sajid Javid's positive test in mid-July. A Scottish government spokesperson declined to comment on the case.